Honorable members, my attention has been drawn to the request by the Minister for Youth and Sports to make a statement on the recent performance of our Black Stars at the World Cup, and so I will grant him permission to do so now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make a statement on the Black Star participation in the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Mr. Speaker, the statement will inform the House and the good people of this country the Black Star participation in the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. The statement will touch on the team preparation, participation, outcomes, gains, and the way forward, which include legacies from our participation in the World Cup. The 2022 edition of the FIFA World Cup, hosted in Qatar, was the 22nd edition of the World Cup and the first time an Arabian country hosted it. The 32 countries of FIFA 211 members drawn from continental federations participated in the tournament, and Ghana was one of the 5 countries representing the African continent after pulsating qualifying series. Mr. Speaker, the Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup marked Ghana's 4th participation in the World Cup, having participated in the 2006, 2010 and 2014 edition in Germany, South Africa and Brazil respectively. Ghana went into the World Cup, FIFA 2022 World Cup, with the following objective: to better our high standards set at the previous World Cup appearance. Ghana qualified for the second round during the Black Star maiden appearance in 2006 and also reached quarterfinals in the 2010 edition in South Africa. The main objective was therefore to emulate these great feats and also better it. And to you, Mr. Speaker, to use the World Cup as a platform to market the tourism potential of our country through the Visit Ghana initiative. 3, to use the World Cup as a global platform to market the God-given football talent our country is blessed with and to create more opportunity for Ghanaian footballers and clubs. 4, to use our qualification and participation in the World Cup to revive corporate and investor confidence in football ecosystem, and to use our participation in the World Cup to rekindle national unity and the spirit of patriotism. Mr. Speaker, to achieve the above objective, especially the objective to better our remarkable quarterfinals record at the World Cup, there was the need to ensure adequate preparation for the team and also mobilize resources to complement government expenditure on the team and other related expenses. In accordance with the government white paper on the Mafe Commission report, which investigated Ghana's participation at the Brazil 2014 World Cup, the Ministry of Youth and Sports decided to facilitate for Ghanaian fans to be able to travel to Qatar to support the Black Star through private and corporate support. Therefore, the ministry fundraising drive was focused in appealing to corporate Ghana to donate holistically towards the campaign in order to able to send Ghanaian supporters to the team. The Ministry of Youth and Sports formed a fundraising committee chaired by my able deputy minister, with membership including the deputy ministers from Lands and Natural Resources, Energy, and the Ministry of Finance. Mr. Speaker, the President's personal intervention also helped in our fundraising drive. A number of corporate organizations came on board to support the Black Star, and this includes MTN Ghana, KGL Foundation, Goldface Ghana Limited, and among others. To support realize the fundraising campaign contributed immensely towards complementing government's expenditure towards the World Cup campaign. Following the confirmation of Coach Otuado as the next head coach of the team of the World Cup, the Ministry of Youth and Sports offered the coach and the technical team all the needed support to aid their work. Part of this was the ministry's support of the proposal to beef up the technical team with a blend of local and foreign experts for the World Cup. In view of this, experienced tactician Chris Houghton, along other two Ghanaian coaches, Didi Dramani and George Boateng, were appointed to assist our head coach Otuado. Also, the ministry supported the GFA proposal to appoint 4 Ghanaian local coaches, namely Prosper Ogun, Ibrahim Tanko, Samuel Boadu, and Ignatius Fosu, were also appointed to provide support services to the technical team. Other technical personnel for medical, video analysts, physical training were also appointed. Team preparation. Mr. Speaker, Ghana team preparation for the World Cup began right after the qualification, with a number of technical teams traveling around various leagues in Europe to monitor Ghanaian players born in Ghana and abroad to Ghanaian parents. As a result of this, a number of players born abroad to Ghanaian parents declared their interest to switch their allegiance and nationality to play for the Black Stars. This gave the technical team a broad scope as they monitored Ghanaian players ahead of the World Cup. Some of these players switched their nationality and ended their self-imposed ban from the national team and were eventually called into the World Cup squad. Friendly matches, Mr. Speaker. Part of Ghana preparation were 2 international friendly matches between the Black Stars and Brazil and Nicaragua. The Black Stars faced Brazil in France in September 2022 and lost 3-0, and the Black Stars made amends in a few days later in Spain, defeating Nicaragua 1-0 in another international friendly match. Pre-tournament camp in Abu Dhabi. Prior to the pre-tournament camp in Abu Dhabi, the head coach of the Black Stars named a provisional 55-man squad, which the final squad was 26 players were selected. With all the major European leagues halting their league a week to the World Cup to pave way for the tournament, the Black Stars officially began their pre-tournament preparation in Abu Dhabi, UAE. Immediately after the break, the European League with the 26 players selected for the World Cup. As part of the final phase preparation for the Black Stars played its final friendly match against Switzerland in Abu Dhabi on November 17, 2022, before departing to Qatar. The Black Stars won the match 2-0 against their Switzerland counterparts. The Black Stars arrived in Qatar for the World Cup on November 18, 2022, clad with a beautiful traditional fuguk and kente dresses. With a host of global media covering the Black Stars arrival, it offered the country a perfect opportunity to highlight and market our traditional outfit to the world. Overall, the Black Stars was made up of 26 players and 21 technical team, and other management members comprising the Black Stars Management Committee and the Executive Council of the GFA. The quest of the ministry was to keep the team motivated, inspired, and focused during the tournament. In view of this, the ministry, with the support of the Ministry of Finance, ensure all monetary issues, especially bonuses and allowances, which ruined our campaign in Brazil 8 years ago, were amicably discussed and resolved before the tournament. The ministry, in collaboration with the GFA, also ensured the establishment of a strong team bond, respect, dignity, support, and the team ethics prior to and during the tournament. Essentially, government support the GFA and the Black Stars was enormous, and government ensured that key areas such as financial commitment, technical support, team preparation, team reinforcement and motivation, as well as vociferous support for the national team were met. The Black Stars began their campaign against Portugal on the 24th November 2022. Unfortunately, the Black Stars lost the game 3-2 to Portugal, despite a spirited comeback from a goal down. This was a match that earned the Black Stars global pundits due to the remarkable manner they fought back through the match. The Black Stars won the second leg game against South Korea with 3-2 to keep Ghana's World Cup dream alive ahead of the final match. This was another difficult match for the Black Stars, but we emerged winners after surviving a scare from the South Koreans, who came from 2-goal down to 2-2 level. The Ghana required at least a point to advance to the next stage of the competition in the Black Star final group match against Uruguay. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the Black Star lost 2-0. At the end of the group stage, the Black Star bowed out of the competition as our only win against South Korea, which gave us 3 points, was not enough to ensure our qualification to the next stage of the tournament. Mr. Speaker, benefits of Qatar to our country. In spite of the Ghana's disappointing inability to qualify from the group stage to the next round of the tournament, participating in the World Cup without doubt gave Ghana intangible benefits, as it did in all participating countries. Some of the benefits, Mr. Speaker, are as follows. Unlike other football tournaments in which Ghana spent a lot of money to ensure qualification, preparation, and bonuses without prize money, the FIFA World Cup is financially rewarding. Once a nation qualifies, Mr. Speaker, for the 2022 World Cup, Ghana was paid an amount of $1.5 million for preparation. In addition to this, Ghana is entitled to an amount of $9 million as a participation fee, making it a total of $10.5 million earnings for the country. Considering the investment government have made in the team from qualifying stage, preparation, allowances, bonuses for players and officials, such return in prize money is a welcome relief and to at least recoup part of the investment, which will aid government's continuous responsibility towards all sporting development in the country. Pride of participation. Ghana was among the 32 countries out of which FIFA member country which qualified for the World Cup. Having missed the 2018 edition in Russia, it was extremely important for the country to qualify for this edition and make amends which eluded us. Tourism and investment potential. Surely, Mr. Speaker, qualifying for the World Cup comes with its own tourism and investment opportunity, both in private sector and the public sector. Following our qualification, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, as one of the major stakeholders of the World Cup, took advantage of our qualification to initiate investment and support discussion with our Qatari sports organization. In the coming months, these discussions will intensify, and it is our hope that government will benefit immensely from our action. Also, Mr. Speaker, World Cup afforded Ghanaian private businessmen and football investors to travel to the World Cup and opportunities to build global football and sports partnership. Again, through our participation, Ghana was able to market our country for direct foreign investment and also tourism destination of choice through our Visit Ghana campaign. By Ghana qualification, the World Cup platform also offered Ghana opportunity to market our textiles, chocolate, artists through Stoneboy, who performed at the final fan festival. In spite of all these off-field benefits, the main objective for participating in the World Cup for Ghana was one of the top football nations in Africa. It is always to leave a remarkable imprint on the field, as we did in Germany in 2006, South Africa in 2010. It is therefore regrettable that we could not achieve our main objective of qualifying from the group stage and making a strong impact at the knockout stage. Supporters mobilization. In line with government white paper on the Jemafe Commission report, government decided to solicit support from private organizations in order to support football fans to travel to Qatar and support the Black Stars. From this initiative, some Ghanaian fans were supported to Qatar by the Ministry of Youth and Sports to complement government funds and ensure strong support for the Black Stars. The ministry collaborated with the Ghanaian embassy in Qatar and mobilized about 1,000 Ghanaians and other African nationals based in Qatar to support the team. These funds were offered free match tickets by the ministry as well as paraphernalias in the Ghanaian colors. Technical vacancy. The head coach of the Black Star, who was contracted for the World Cup following Ghana exit, Coach Otuado announced his decision not to continue as a Black Star coach. This has led to vacancy ahead of our assignment by the Black Star in 2023. The Ministry of Youth and Sports and the GFA have already commenced discussion in appointing a new technical team for the Black Star with a view of transforming the national team. Mr. Speaker, budget. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that prior to Ghana's participation to the World Cup, I informed this House that our estimated budget at the group stage was $8,166,200 United States dollars. Out of this estimated budget, Mr. Speaker, our total expenditure for the group stage participation amounted to $5,171,840 United States dollars. These expenditures covered appearance fee, per diem, flight arrangements, medicals, equipment, logistics, and hospitality. Mr. Speaker, the reason for the surplus of $3 million after our exit from the group stage is as a result of the ministry's prudent management of resources, as well as the ministry's decision to negotiate on qualification bonus for the next round instead of paying winning bonus per match. What this means is that in spite of our Black Star defeating South Korea in our second group match, we did not pay any winning bonuses to that win. However, we would have paid qualification bonus to the team had they been able to progress from the group stage of the World Cup, regardless of the results of our matches, the group matches. Mr. Speaker, we have adopted is aim at motivating the team to go all out and progress from one stage of a competition to the other, and also to ensure prudent management of resources. Mr. Speaker, even though we have not been very happy for the Black Star progress for us to pay the qualification bonus, these measures have also saved the nation some money, which will go back to continuous support of sports development. Way forward, Mr. Speaker, the Black Star recent participation in the two major tournaments have not yielded the desired on-pitch results, notwithstanding the enormous investment of government continues to make in the team. This calls for drastic measures, especially in the handling of the team, to ensure that as a nation we halt the dwindling fortune of our national team. Despite our disappointing exit from the group stage of the World Cup, one positive is that the young team gave our nation a glimmer of hope that the team can go places if we learn from our mistakes and correct the wrongs. The Ministry of Youth and Sports therefore intends to lead a national dialogue of all stakeholders to come out with a modern and inclusive way of managing our national team. This is extremely important in order to complete and win confidence of Ghanaians, especially the managerial process of our national team. World Cup Legacy Project. In line with the vision of the host country, Qatar, to create and sustain a first of its kind Qatar 2022 Legacy Project across the world, the Ministry of Youth and Sports is committed to the Qatar 2022 Legacy Project. The Ministry has already commenced discussion with the Qatari authority to collaborate with them to mutually beneficial relationship towards their Qatar 2022 Legacy Project, which we are planning across the world. On our own, the Ministry will soon launch our version of the Qatar 2022 Legacy Project, which will see us collaborate with private sector to build basic and much-needed sports infrastructure, such as football pitches, boxing gyms, basket courts, tennis courts, volleyball courts in other communities and schools to enhance community and schools and sports. This project will be named 2022 World Cup Legacy Project. The idea is to ensure that our participation in the World Cup will bring visible and long-lasting benefits not only to football but other sports across board. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I have to once again express the Ministry's disappointment, which reflects the mood of Ghanaian people, for the inability of the Black Stars across to progress from the group stage to the next round, as well as we look forward. Mr. Speaker, all government, parliament, corporate Ghana, and the good people of Ghana did our best in support of our national team. And I believe the team, on the second account of what we saw, also gave off their best. Unfortunately, it wasn't the best to see us through to the next stage. As I have often said, we must learn from our mistakes to ensure a brighter future of our national teams. It will begin with serious reforms, and government through the Ministry of Youth and Sports is committed in leading these reforms. Mr. Speaker, the Qatar 2020 was a test case for us as a nation, since it marked our first World Cup since the government white paper of the 2014 World Commission report. And I'm happy that with the support of stakeholders, issues which attracted negative global publicity in the country 8 years ago in Brazil were completely off, ensuring a serene, transparent World Cup process, facilitating private support for Ghanaian fans to travel to the World Cup, as well as recommended by the white paper, especially in the midst of difficult financial challenges, gave the ministry a great satisfaction. Mr. Speaker, let me use this opportunity once again to thank the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for his personal commitment to the World Cup project. I'm also grateful to you, Mr. Speaker, and the entire members of this House for your immense support during the tournament. Finally, Mr. Speaker, government is grateful to all Ghanaians for the united and patriotic manner we all came together as a nation to support the national team, our Black Stars. Indeed, football unites, and just as we envisaged, the World Cup and the Black Star brought us together. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.